welcome back to the Soul Dojo gaming channel. I am accompanied by a very special guest, a person that has not been on this channel just yet, my man Kevin. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. How's your day been today? Because I just hit you up literally like 5 minutes ago to do this, and you
Yeah,
just cleared your whole schedule.
no,
Amazing.
it's all good. I'm doing what I usually do this time, so I'm just chilling. We'd kind of talked about it, so when you hit me up, I at least knew where you were coming from. Day's been good though, man. Just
Great.
regular day.
Great, great. So we're talking about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, one of the hottest games to come out this summer for the Nintendo Switch. Of course, the Nintendo Switch is going to have some bigger games like Pokemon and Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening come out, but this is one of the bigger games to come out mid year. And how do you feel about it overall? You've been playing a few hours of it?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I played probably I think around 5 or 6 hours into it, and I've really enjoyed it.
Great. Who's been like your main character that you kind of been using, or have you kind of just bounced around?
I try to bounce around as much as I can because I
Mm-hmm.
want to I want to kind of get my hands into all of them and kind of see what's going on. But honestly, I ended up using more Deadpool and Star-Lord probably than any of the rest.
Oh wow, I still haven't had Deadpool yet. Wow. Great. Yeah, I've been using Star Lord was actually very. I didn't really think he was gonna be that good. I actually really like that character.
Yeah, agreed. It's kind of like in that realm of characters, nothing
Yeah.
against Star-Lord, but you wouldn't expect him to be all that. And yeah, it's just that range, man. Like he does really well with range and movement. So
Yeah, and one of the characters that stood out to me since we're just on characters is Crystal. She's very slow but very effective and very strong. Have you used her yet?
just a little bit.
Uh,
Just a little bit. There's been a couple of them that I've noticed though, off like just between passing through characters and trying to get a little taste of what they've got going on, like that I've noticed are obviously really powerful. It just
mhm.
takes some settling in on like being able to time up their skill moves and things like that without, button mashing all over the place.
Right, and that's what I was kind of worried about with this game. I really didn't want to just be button mashing and stuff. I played the second one a little bit, but I just didn't want it to be, kind of boring with the combat and things like that. But it turns out it's not necessarily like that. A little bit, but it's still pretty fun overall, especially when you get a co-op partner. So I played cooperatively. You've played cooperatively also. How was your experience with like co-op play? And was it
Yeah,
couch or online?
I was LAN, so I was
Mm-hmm.
local. I was
Oh,
local.
sweet, sweet.
Switch to switch, and yeah, it was great. It's not unlike a lot of games for me. I really enjoy playing co-op, but I think especially in a game like this where there's some like synergy type effects on some of the abilities, linking people together and stuff like that, and then also just kind of narrowing my scope of focus down to less tools at my hands. I was really able to like start to, I wouldn't say master, but get the hang of some of the characters really well that way.
I think I figured out that when you play with more people, the game gets a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed the same, which makes sense. But yeah, it was
Hmm.
definitely noticed.
It really does make sense, and I think what's crazy about it is I wish the characters leveled with your level also because like I went back and started using Wolverine again because I'm like, okay, I was using Luke Cage and I'm like, no, I was using Thor, and I think Thor is one of the most. He's not that good. Like he's actually very underwhelming of a character. He's not as strong as you would think. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and use Wolverine. I was at level 10. Wolverine was still at level 6, but it's
Wow.
not hard to kind of get them up there though.
No, it's not. And just not to be, I don't want to go too in depth on every single character or anything like that, but just to
Mm,
spin on what you were playing, I thought Thor was one of the more visually appealing people to play with. He did really cool looking stuff.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, the scope of his powers seemed a little bit less than what I guess compared to some of the other ones in my mind.
Right, right. Story wise, it's they're basically kind of. I didn't see. Okay, people are gonna get mad at me. I didn't see. I haven't seen a Marvel movie in like years, besides like the Spider-Man stuff, because I'm a Spider-Man guy. So
Sure.
like, I'm guessing this one kind of lightly follows what's been going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right?
It kind of pulls on it. I don't know
Mm,
that I would use the word follow because that would be a stretch in my mind, but
okay.
it obviously pulls on even with the voice acting and like the way the characters are written in, they were obviously pulling off of the characters that from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But as far as the actual storyline itself, I think it was more just pairing um, uh, pairing enemies, or pairing like when you unlock characters at kind of times that make sense in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to some effect.
Right, and I like the way that they implement a lot of the smaller characters because that we don't really see in the bigger movies, but some of them that we've seen in the smaller ones. I'm a big Jessica Jones fan, and
Yeah,
Jessica
absolutely.
Jones made a appearance, and she just had like intel on like where another Infinity Stone was at. So I do like that. I like the wisecracking jokes from a lot of Star Lord's people, and it's really funny. I've chuckled a few times like at some of the voice acting, and it's really not that bad, to be honest with you. It's really good stuff.
No, yeah, it's not bad at all. It is good stuff. And I remember the part you were talking about with Jessica Jones. She's like on the rooftop with the
Hmm.
ninjas. I don't want to like spoil any gameplay or anything, but it was cool how they tied some of that in. And it does and you know, the more I think about it, the more there is a lot. I mean, not that not that this is all that profound, but they're pulling a lot on that universe for sure.
Right. You did talk a little bit about Thor being visually appealing. The game, I think. Have you seen the Square Enix Marvel game?
Um, maybe, but I'm not visualizing it off the top of my
Not
head.
not really. Okay. Well, this game is super cartoonish, almost on like a comic book level, especially with a lot of the explosions. Um, and I think that really plays into the game really well because a lot of the characters kind of do look like their cinematic counterpart. You know what I'm saying?
For
And some
sure.
of them even sound like it. Like I'm like, is this really Robert Downey is playing
Yeah, no, they
as Iron Man?
definitely got some good voice work, and
Yeah.
like, there's some of them where you can tell you're like, oh, that's not them, but when once you get like, it doesn't take any getting past. It's really high quality. They sound a lot like them.
Exactly. So in that aspect, it's like they really did sell it really well when you're watching the cinematic when you're watching the movie part of the game. I'm like drawing a blank on what it's called, but when you're watching
No,
the
cutscenes.
scenes, yeah, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
cutscenes, yeah, when you're watching the cutscenes, you're like, oh my god, like this is very believable,
yeah, for
very
sure. No,
believable.
agreed completely. Yeah,
Yeah. So, because the Square Enix game doesn't really do a good job of that, like I'm drawing a blank on some of the heroes that are in there, but like Iron Man doesn't look anything like the Iron Man that we have been presented within the last 5-6 years of, you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Which
So
like, and especially with, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
there.
that's fine.
Especially with some of those, like, you can't get away from Iron Man looking like what we know from out of those movies now.
Hmm.
Like, I don't really think there's a whole lot of room for stretch and interpretation, even if it's just kind of set in people's minds. So if you go change something like that dramatically, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the biggest debates between the Square Enix Avengers game and this Avengers game. And it's well more, I think this game is well more like respected and approved because of the cartooniness that it has. So, I wanted to get a little bit into how it runs on the Nintendo Switch.
Sure.
There was a moment when we were fighting the ninjas that were around that Jessica Jones part, and there was a little bit of some drop frames here. Now I do give the Switch a lot of leeway when it comes to that because it's the lesser console. I don't know if you witnessed that.
Yeah, I've had, all in all, on the Switch, any of the game, especially this game, I had, I mean, the same experience. I'll get a little screen blur. Probably, it's probably just drop frames in reality, but it looks
Mm-hmm.
more like screen blur to me when it happens. Um, but I didn't have a ton of it, and I didn't ever have any like consistency with it. It wasn't like happening all the time in one,
Yeah.
or anything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had it happen in some of the other games that are a little bit more beefy graphics wise. But all in all, like, it's pretty good for a mobile phone processor.
Right, and I had a lot of issues where I seen a lot of issues was the Green Goblin fight when there's a lot of explosions and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
which you would think would happen. So I saw a lot of that with that. So overall, look, looking at Marvel Ultimate Alliance, this game, how the RPG aspects work and things like that, it's basically you go through the story, you're unlocking the characters, you're unlocking more moves, and you get buffs depending on who you pick and stuff like that. It's not too in depth, but for maybe the targeted audience, it's just right.
Yeah, agreed completely. So like, I've played some games in the same genre where like there's too much. Like I don't have a keyboard and mouse in front of me right now. Like like I
Yeah.
don't need. I like depth of play, and I like play being hard enough to where it actually takes effort to
So
master.
so what's
But I
the
don't
cap
like
on
too
that then?
much.
My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what's the cap on
Nah.
that? Is Diablo the cap, in his Marvel Ultimate Alliance the bottom? That kind of style of game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I think it falls somewhere. It falls somewhere on the spectrum. All in all, though, I mean, I thought it had enough depth to like you still had to work to really get great at a character,
Yeah.
but the concepts are all there and understood. There's no like trying to figure out what it is you need to be doing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. And they do have like those. Ooh, I want to say it's their rendition of raids. So like I fought Nebula for the second time with my friend, but it was different though. Like
Oh
we had
yeah,
to do it,
totally.
like it was like different objectives and stuff like that, and it was a lot harder. And I think that was really what I got out of this game more than anything, was like going back playing those games again with my friends, and it was harder. I had to do different objectives, and we had to kind of strategize differently. So that was really an amazing thing with this game.
Yeah, I thought it adds a lot of gameplay, that particular feature. I was really a big fan of that as well, and I'm going to enjoy it more as I go.
Okay. One last thing I want to talk about. I heard a lot of people say that the stages are very repetitive. Are you getting kind of the same feel as you go through the stages? I'm getting kind of like they're not really hard to go through at all. And I kind of do get some of the aspects are a little bit the same, but I think my issue is it's not hard to get through the stages at all, especially with the puzzles. It's like they don't even really try to make them difficult.
Sure. Yeah, I think they put the puzzles in there and a lot of great plays to break that kind of monotony in this particular style of play
Mhm.
up, but they were a little bit too easy in my opinion as well. I think they could have gone a little bit more creative. I'm still glad they were there because they do break it up and it is something to do, but I don't think it goes a whole lot past it just being another thing to do. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Awesome, awesome. What about the boss battles? Last thing, what about the boss battles? Because uh, I don't think the boss battles are too repetitive. Actually, I think some of them are different. The Green Goblin fight was different. Oh my goodness, the Venom versus the Venom and Electro versus, of course, your group was amazing because Electro kind of like formed with Venom, and that was crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty legit. Like he like what is it, symbiosis thing or whatever, and like
Yeah, yeah. The
yeah, that was
symbiote.
pretty awesome. They were really really fun. Like I can't say that. Like there's no way I went into any of the boss fights and didn't
Mhm.
come out with a big grin on my face. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah. Even though there is some like kind of like Kingpin and Nebula, they just get like they just respawn a whole bunch of people around you, and you just gotta like kick their butt somehow. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Just start
yeah.
swinging on them. So some of them are like that, but a good bit are a little bit different, and I like that about this game. So overall, I do love it. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm guessing Kevin, you're into it.
Oh, I'm definitely in. I'm gonna keep playing as well.
My man, we're definitely got to get on soon too. We
Yeah,
definitely
we
got to
do.
get on soon.
We do. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. You got to go on your trip. We'll get some game time in when you get back.
Exactly. Yes. So if you're watching this, I am on vacation right now. Hopefully, getting very drunk. Hopefully enjoying myself.
I'm sure you'll make the magic happen.
So make sure you guys subscribe to the Soul Dojo Gaming channel. Make sure you guys share and like the video. Kev, any social media stuff you want to shout out?
Graph Smug on Twitch.
Oh yeah, your Twitch stuff, Fortnite, all that stuff. You're the next
Yeah.
millionaire, man.
You know, I've been streaming a little bit of this game as well, so I'm kind of throwing some stuff out there. I'm definitely not the next there.
Right, right. Well, shout it out one more time and let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, Grap Smug Twitch.
Nice, nice. And make sure you guys, like I said, like, subscribe, and we're doing so many great stuff here. We're almost at 300 subscribers. I've been Curtis Russell with the Soul Dojo, and I'll check you guys later. All right? Peace.
Viewers beware. smart, but still ain't knowing nothing. Sick and sipping Robitussin. Hella not myself today. Give it a say, the flow is coming. Be the type of dude you wanna ask him if he holding something. Got that high tech store bought, rolling up with. Be in the section with the people that I'm smoking with. Hit it, then I hold it in. Hold it, then I choke again. I'm that socialist, vocalist. You show your friends more to corruption than some Donald Trump emoluments. That really says a lot about society.